Good morning, everybody. This is Becky DeGrossa. I'm the founder of Counseling Wise, and the webinar that you are attending is the top marketing strategies to grow your private practice in 2016. So for all of you who are looking to get ready for next year, there you go. I want to do a little check-in here. I want to make sure that you can hear and see, well, not see me, but see the charts that are up. If you can, please go ahead and type in yes. I see some people saying hello in the chat. Great. That's great. Go ahead and say hello, check in. Want to make sure it's working for everybody. All right, I'm hearing some yeses. Good deal. All right, good. Now, Megan, my handy dandy sidekick, is here on the chat with you all. And if anyone has any technical problems with seeing the charts or hearing me, feel free to say what's going on for you in the chat, and Megan will help you out. A lot of times, all you need to do is refresh your browser, and then you'll be able to see. All right. So I'm going to dive into this here. The way this works is we're going to have questions at the end. So the purpose of today's webinar is we're going to cover the changes that have occurred over the year 2015 when it comes to being successful in marketing your practice online. Okay, so these are going to be pretty interesting things for you, I think, and we're going to end it with showing you what you need to do to be ready for next year. All right. Now, we gave a very similar presentation last year at the end of the year about what was going on in 2014 that was going to affect 2015, and a lot of you took action and are very happy that you did. And so that's pretty much what we're setting up and queuing up here for 2016 as well. Now, as I mentioned, questions are going to be taken at the end. So go ahead and as questions come up for you, please go ahead and type them into the chat area, because at the end of the presentation, I will go through the questions in the order that they were received. So I'll be starting at the bottom and scrolling up. So feel free to have anything in there, anything that comes up, you're better off asking it then you are holding on to it, because we'll answer it, okay? And remember that there are no such things as dumb questions, okay, except for the ones that aren't asked. So please, please, please put your questions in there. We really want you to get a lot out of this today. All right, so why is this important, this whole topic of looking at what's changed and what strategies you should be looking for next year? Well, online marketing changes drastically each year. I think all of you know that. If you're online at all, you're getting advice from everybody, every which way about, oh, do this, do that, you know, do the other thing. This is the magic bullet. This is going to save you. All you have to do is this magic thing here. And there's so much information out there. So most therapists are not technical experts. Most coaches are not technical experts, or marketing experts, or marketing trend trackers. So that is where we come in. We're really trying to let you know what's going on, because if you don't know how the environment is changing, you're really not going to know how to prepare and how to be in a good position to get clients in the next year. Now, why can you trust me? Well, Counseling Wise has created more page one rankings that result in site visits from potential therapy clients than any other marketing company. That's a pretty bold claim, but in every market that we're in, which is a lot, pretty much every state in the US and Canada, Ireland, the UK, Australia, our clients, oh, I think we have someone in Germany as well. Our clients are outranking those from other companies, okay? That's just the way it is. And we're doing this not for bizarre terms that no one ever types in. We're actually outranking for terms that people actually type in to look for help in terms of therapy or coaching, all right? So we're gonna go into the details of this. The result is that therapists that work with us get more calls from their websites than others, okay? That's just the way it is. So You might wonder, how do we do this? Well, we stay up to date on what is changing online, okay? And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. We attend conferences. We study with the real experts. I mean, some of these guys that we hang out with, they're pretty interesting characters. We also keep track of annual studies. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of data that we're bringing in. We take that and then we apply it to our client websites. We modify our processes as the new information comes in. And if you have been a client of ours, you know that you're going to get emails from us letting you know when things changed, letting you know what you need to do to your site, even after you launch it, okay? So we're always up to date on this. I mentioned studies. In 2015, there are 3 studies that are pertinent to what we're really looking at here. So there's the search metrics study. It's published every year. And in 2015, it came out in July. And you can go to searchmetrics.com and you can look at that. I am going to be taking the major points of these and sharing them with you. I'm not going to go through all the detail. The search metrics study in and of itself is 78 pages. So you have a lot to read if you want to go dig deeper. There's a lot out there. The other one that we look at in terms of general ranking factors is the Moz study. This is done every 2 years, and the most recent one came out in August of this year. And I'll be showing you things from both of these studies. And then finally, a lot of therapists, a lot of coaches, since it's often a face-to-face type business, are interested in local search, okay? And what that means is you're actually interested in ranking locally in your city, not necessarily national, okay? Now, like counseling-wise, we rank nationally because our clients are all over the place, but there's a lot of therapists. Coaches can often be national, but a lot of therapists are local. So we look at that local ranking factor study as well. You might be thinking, well, this is pretty complicated stuff, right? It's too complicated. Might be too hard to be successful online if things are changing all the time. And why should I even try? That can be very overwhelming for a lot of folks who aren't very technical. The good news is that we're monitoring this for you. So you do not have to be out there studying David Mim and Neil Patel and all these strange characters. We're doing that for you, okay? Many of the basics haven't really changed that much, all right? Many of the basics. So if you were here last year when we did this presentation about looking forward to 2015, you're going to hear some of the things again. What we are seeing, however, and I'll show you the data on this, is it's really getting more important that you take these things seriously. They're mattering more and more every year. And the other good news is that after today, you will be clear about what you need to do, and I'll show you how you can get it done pretty quickly, okay, and easily. All right, now, one thing I want to do is I want to bring this down to you. I want it to be not just a bunch of theoretical information, technical, babble. I want to actually show you how it affects therapists and coaches. And Lisa and Rich are some coaches. They both have PhDs. They have PhDs in psychology, and they are coaches. They're career coaches. They opened their coaching practice in New York City in 2008. And of course, New York City is the most saturated market for therapists and coaches in the world. So it's not a small job to do well there. After spending 6 years on their marketing, they really weren't making the headway that they wanted. And in 2014, they decided, okay, we're going to build this beautiful new website. It's going to be really classy. That'll make the difference, right? So they put that up, and after a year, they still weren't getting enough client visits, consult calls, success. They were pretty frustrated, right? Maybe like you, they had done a lot of things. They had joined Psychology Today. They created social media pages. They even ran a Google AdWords campaign, and yet clients were still not calling them. And then to make matters worse, you know, they had a technical web developer, and they had an SEO expert on board, and those folks were telling them, do this, do that, and it was way too much for them to do themselves. They felt that what they said was, it was more like they were giving a computer programmer instructions on something to do, not talking to coaches. They really didn't know what to do. So they contacted us in early 2015, so that's this year, asking us to help. We worked with them to create a new strategy for their marketing, and within 4 months of implementing these changes, they were receiving 4 times as many consult calls as they were previously. Okay, and this is in New York City, so this is not, you know, some little town out in the middle of nowhere. This is New York City, so this stuff really works. I'm going to show you what they did to get these results as we continue, so just hang on. I want you to also make sure that you stay until the end, okay? I'm not only going to go through what we did for Lisa and Rich, but I'm going to show you the easiest way for you to be ready for 2016 as well. And I'm going to be making an offer today. I always want to let you know if this is something that I'm going to be making an offer on at the beginning of the webinar. And if you don't want to hear it, you can jump off before the end. But I will be making an offer, and that is, we're going to show you how we can help you implement the types of things that we did here for Lisa and Rich. And there's also a cost savings because our rates are increasing next year. And so this cost savings is good until midnight 12/31. So that's why timing is important here. Okay. So the details that were promised when we let you all know about this webinar. The first one was that we're going to share one factor that continues to have a stronger impact, and of course that most therapists want to ignore. We're going to talk about how social media will impact your website visibility and what the changes are there. We're going to talk about 2 things that you really need to be checking on in regards to your website. And if you haven't checked them yet, you're going to want to, because they are more harmful than they were last year if you have this going on. Number 4, why you might want to actually consider Google AdWords as a good strategy in 2016. And I'll talk with you in detail about the experience that Lisa and Rich had, because as you might have remembered, I said that they had done AdWords before and it wasn't working for them. So we'll see how we changed that around for them. And then finally, I'm going to show you the single best project that you should really consider before the new year arrives so that you're ready for 2016. Okay, now, before I dive into those specifics, I actually want to give you a little bit of education on how user experience affects website rankings. This is extremely important, and it's something that is a bit hard to explain. And this is, in fact, the first time I've ever attempted to really explain it on a webinar. So it'll be great if you guys can tell me how it went and ask questions, because I want to make sure that you really understand this, okay? So user experience, what that means is, it means what is the site visitor experiencing when they come to your website, okay? So you're going to picture someone going out to Google, typing in something because they're searching for some kind of either help or information or something. And what happens after that, okay? What happens after that? Now, Google is going to rank websites in a certain way, and the user's going to choose one of those websites, typically that is on page 1, right? Something that's on page 1. They're going to click on that. They're going to go to a page, and they're going to have some kind of experience there, okay? Either it's going to be disappointing, okay? There's not very much information. It isn't really relevant to what they're looking for, whatever. It's really ugly. It's really old. The site loads really slowly, something, right? Or they're going to have a good experience, and they're going to go there and say, wow, this is really what I was looking for. Oh man, this person really gets me. Wow, look at what they're saying here. Oh, and look, I can look at all sorts of more information. I can dig deeper on this site into this issue that I'm researching or looking for help with. All right. So there's factors that go into ranking here. And I just want to spend a little bit of time on this, and then I'm going to give you an example to hopefully bring it home so that you really understand how it affects you as a therapist or a coach. So freshness, first of all. We tell you all the time to go ahead and write blog posts and continually add website content, right? And the reason for this is that Google wants to know that your site is alive and well and that you're putting out fresh information all the time. When you write a specific page, in the beginning, it's considered fresh content. And if it is relevant to a search term, and I'm going to give you an example here. If it's relevant to a search term and it appears to be a high quality page and it's fresh, okay, meaning a brand new kid on the block, but the kid looks pretty good, Google's going to trial the page, if you will. They're going to let you into the tryouts, okay? They're going to put your page up high so that users can interact with it and they can get more data about your page. Now, if people come to first of all, if they click on it because it looks good in the search results, that's brownie points for you, okay? That is something that improves your click-through rate, which is really important. So that's a good thing for you if people are clicking on it because it looks good. But then Google looks at some other things. When they go to your site, are they staying there for a long time, right? Are they staying there or are they just bouncing? Okay, so Google looks at the amount of time that visitors stay on your page and stay on your site, and they look at bounce rate. Are people just going there and leaving really quickly because they're disappointed with the result? It's not what they're looking for, all right? So Google lets you kind of be in this tryout period for maybe a week, and they see how people are interacting with your website. And if you do well, then you get good Google juice and you bubble up and you become a solid search result on page one over time. If you don't do well, if people are disappointed, then Google says, they give you a low quality score, if you will, okay? And so you're going to have to really fix some things in order to be able to bubble up the rankings. Now, I hope this wasn't terribly confusing. Please chime in with questions, but I'm going to show you an example here. PTSD treatment Boulder. Let's say that I go there and I search on that term. Okay, I'm in Boulder. I search on this term. I'm either me or someone in my family needs some help with this. Okay, now there's going to be a bunch of search results that come up in the organic search. Of course, above this, there's paid ads. Okay, but in organic search, these are the ones that are showing up. Now, April Lyon Psychotherapy is the first result, and April is one of our clients. She did not start there, okay? Now, when she first launched this page, she was probably, I don't know, on page 5 of Google or something like that. But then Google gave her a trial period, right? New page, let's pop it up for a while and see what happens. The only reason she even got to do the tryout was because there was good, relevant content to PTSD treatment, that term that people were typing in, okay? Now notice that now, and this is maybe, I don't know, I don't remember exactly when April launched, maybe a year ago, something like that. She's above even Psychology Today, which is a huge site, as you know. Okay, and there's 4 listings there for Psychology Today below her, but she's number 1. This didn't happen just magically. It's because her content is really strong and people had good user experience when they went to her site. All right, so let's look at this. So she had the freshness aspect working for her, she had relevance working for her, and she had quality content working for her. So she was able to show up so that people could interact. People found her site to be very relevant and high quality, and they stayed there. And Google gave her Google juice, if you will. That's kind of what we call it. Okay, so here's her page. Okay, when you click on that search result, you go here, and it's very clear that you're in the right place, right? PTSD treatment. She's really engaging in her copy. Is PTSD preventing you from achieving a fulfilling life? She goes on to really touch into all the feelings that they have. They're feeling very met and seen right here with these questions. You go further down the page, the copy keeps going. It's long copy. But even better yet, over here on that same page, there are blog posts that have to do with PTSD. So let's imagine that this person, the potential client, is someone who has been having nightmares. Well, look at that. There's something that they could click there, they could go in. Let's imagine that they're really disoriented, life is feeling unreal. That post there, the dissociation one, is going to really talk to them. Let's say they're not really sure if they have PTSD or not. Maybe they're going to be interested in the signs and symptoms post, okay? There's even some for women specifically, 5 most common PTSD symptoms in women. And my guess is that if you, sorry, I keep turning that. My guess is that if you even searched for things like common PTSD symptoms in women and you're sitting in Boulder, that post itself is going to come up, okay? Bottom line, I hope what you're imagining is that this user comes to this page, and rather than just seeing a little paragraph that says, hey, I'm, the nice therapist in town, look how warm and comfortable my office is. I treat PTSD, anxiety, depression, and couples. Come see me, which is pretty shallow content, right? Thin content, as it's called in the trades. This page is quite in-depth, and it has so many options for the person to learn more about PTSD and really spend time on this site and start to trust April, okay? So this is why April bubbled up to #1 above Psychology Today. She has very relevant, good quality content. All right, so this is the concept I really want you to understand, because this is going to make it's going to enable you to understand these ranking factors and why Google is doing what it's doing with the changes I'll tell you about even more. It'll make sense to you. So again, if you don't understand this, please put questions into the chat so we can answer them. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the number and the length of your pages on your website. It has even a stronger impact than it did before, okay? Now, most therapists and coaches, most people who aren't into marketing, they ignore this at their peril. I hear things all the time, and I really want to encourage you to not get stuck here. I hear, well, my clients like the brevity of my website. I don't think that anyone will really read that much, so I don't really want to write that, those long pages. Or, oh yeah, I know all of that is, pertinent and relevant, and people have questions about that, but I really like to talk to them about all of that on the phone. I don't really want to put it on my website. Okay, so what I'm telling you is that if this is your stance, then you really are shooting yourself in the foot, okay? It does matter. It matters a lot. Now, here's, don't freak out by these graphs. This is just something that shows you the bottom line here, the bottom graph here shows you last year's results. And this area here is the top 10 results. And these are the top 30. The whole thing shows 30 results, top 10 are shaded. So what you're going to find is that the top 10 results, meaning these are on page 1, they have larger file sizes, meaning the website has more pages. That's how you want to look at that. So already in 2014, we could see that larger sites ranked better. And in 2015, it's even more of a factor. Okay, the trend is the same, but the sites are larger that are ranking. So it's really important to have a lot of pages, and that's why we want you to blog, blog, blog. If you have like a therapy site without a blog built in, you can't add more pages to your website. You can't. It's just not possible. Okay, so blogging, having a built-in blog is extremely important, and we really want you to use it regularly and grow your site. The other thing that I said was that the length of the pages really matters, okay? And so in 2014, it mattered. And in 2015, it even matters more. So you'll see this again here, that the word count last year, it was, I think it was 902. And now the average word count of a page that ranks in the top 30 is 1,140. The top 10, it's 1,285. All right. So page length is really continuing to be a demanding factor. So short pages aren't going to cut it. All right. The other thing that I wanted to show you is, and those previous two charts were from the Search Metrics report. This one is from the Moz ranking factor study, and they actually list negative ranking factors. So they have a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 1 is there's no direct influence of this factor on the rankings, and 10 is it's a very strong influence. So page content being thin, meaning very short, very general, not in depth, not long, is a huge negative ranking factor. Okay, so that's what this chart is basically telling you. So bottom line, the old way used to be you could get traffic with just a few pages on your website. You used to be able to have very short and general pages and still do okay. That no longer works, okay? The new way is that you need to have specific pages for each specialty. These are going to be centered on search terms. And you really want to write it for your potential client. You want to write it not only so that it emotionally appeals to them and it impacts them that way, but also you want it to be very easy to read. People have, what do I want to say, ADD online, worse than in the real world, right? Online, it's magnified. And so you need to have it be really easy for them to read. And I'm going to give you some extra tips on that here in a second. The length of the copy really matters. Now, I'm still going to say 900 to 1,200 words. That's what I'm going to say. Right now, well, all through 2015, we are doing specialty pages that were 900 to 1,000 words, somewhere in there. If you also have to remember that you're competing with other therapists or other coaches, and if in the industry itself isn't writing that long, then you don't have to really go for the 1,200 plus. Okay, you can. You can be competitive within your industry. Some industries you're going to have to write a lot more pages than this, or I mean a lot more words. But in our industry, if you really, 9 to 1,000 is probably still okay. Must have strong SEO. Okay, the SEO is part of it that's really going to help you rank. It's going to help you get the click through in the search results, and that's just the way it goes. There is, again, a high correlation between ranking and number of pages, okay? And this is why we want to tell you blog, blog, blog. In a previous webinar, I actually showed you a study that showed that even in the therapy world, the pages, the websites that have more pages, they are ranking higher than those that have fewer pages, and that's just the way it is. So you got to keep blogging. Here's the extra tips about readability, okay? You want to use short sentences, and this is we have I think we're up to like 8 journalistic writers on staff now, and we have a training and processes and procedures for them. These are taken from there. Use short sentences, short paragraphs, break up the text with subheads, write at a 9th grade level. Okay, don't use big words. And if you're really in love with your practice and with clinical concepts, that's great, but don't use those words in your writing because your people will bounce. They don't know what that is. It makes them uncomfortable, and they're just going to leave your website. Finally, here's a little tool that you can use. Run your copy through this readability engine. You can just go to readability-score.com. And if you're doing well, you're going to get a score in the 60s. Even in the 70s is okay. Okay, but the lower the score, the better. It's called the Flesch-Kincaid readability score, and you can just jot down that URL and go check your stuff. Okay? And here is how that has impacted things. Okay, this has really changed a lot. So the readability is really, it's really mattering a lot more than it used to. And this is just a trend that's going to continue. There's so much information out there. People are just really scattered. So you need to make it very easy for them to be on your site. And this readability score factors into that. Okay. The biggest challenges in this area that Lisa and Rich had was their navigation was not very clear. It wasn't clear where people needed to go to find certain things on their website. So we helped them make that much more clear, and we also helped them add several very specific pages that talk to different things that they did. We increased the length of their pages, okay? And we were very careful to talk to the reader in a way that they felt impacted, okay? We have a 7-point marketing message approach that we use in our writing, and this was very effective in having their users come to their website, read it, feel very met, seen, heard, and impacted. And that's what helped them a lot. They're also blogging regularly, so they're adding new pages every month to their website. The site is growing. That gives them a lot of fresh content, keeps them in the game, and gives them overall good site authority. What they said in the end was, Lisa's mainly the one that we talked to. She's the one who ran the website project. I love look at my site before, but the content wasn't driving enough people to it. People didn't really know what we did. Now it's very clear, very concrete, and easy to find information about exactly what it is that we do. All right. Social media signals. That's the next thing that I said that I would talk with you. Well, social media signals correlate highly with rankings. And here's just one of the many charts in these studies. You can see that social media signals from Facebook, for instance, and this includes, since it's the total, it includes likes, shares, comments, etc. Any kind of interactivity with the Facebook posts. You can see that the top 10 have a lot more social signals than the folks further down, and it just continues to de-escalate the further out to the right you go. All right. Now this is really, it's still strong. It was strong last year. It's still strong now. It increases exponentially in the top places. So that's the key change. It's even more important now in the top page 1 rankings than it was before. And what we used to have, what I often used to hear from therapists is, well, social media is a waste of time. I can't really be social if I'm a therapist. What the heck would I put out there anyway? I mean, what am I going to say, right? And so here's what you can do. You use your blog posts. Those are your currency. So if you are writing good blog posts on your website that are about topics that people matter, that are about topics that people care about, then you can post those on social media. And that's really what we recommend, that's what you're posting out there. You post those on various social platforms, and even if they are only shared or liked or retweeted or whatever by other therapists, you're still getting social signals, okay? You're still getting social signals. So this is a factor that really helps, and it is something that you can easily do if you've implemented a system that includes blogging on a regular basis. You don't have to wonder about what to post out there, okay? You already have it. So that's what we recommend. Now, Lisa and Rich, they're still active on social media. They don't have to do a ton of work there, okay? They do enough. They created a system that works for them, and they get social signals, and it's good enough. You don't have to spend hours and hours a day doing social media, okay? Just use what you have, put it out there, have it work for you. Okay, on to the third item. There are 2 issues that you really need to check on your website if you haven't already. Now, both of these issues have always been problematic, but they're even more problematic now than they used to be. So it's really time to check this out. The first one is whether or not you have unnatural backlinks, whether or not you have hired an SEO company to do what is called black hat SEO. This used to be a great way of ranking. You could have thin content, you could have a not very strong website, and if you built enough links to it, then you could rank really well. That is no longer the case, and in fact, it's really going to hurt you if you've done that. I'm going to show you how you can check for this, okay? The second thing that you need to check for is duplicate content, and this is a confusing issue. If you've copied content from another site, I mean, I saw somebody in Boulder like about a year ago who had just taken articles from the New York Times verbatim and put it on her website. Okay, that is a big no-no. Okay, that is duplicate content. It's taking somebody else's content and putting it on yours. Even if you say this is from the New York Times and you credit it, you aren't supposed to do that, right? That's not a good thing. And if you've taken maybe even a blog post that you have and you've posted it on multiple sites, that can have a duplicate content penalty associated with it. So you want to check for that. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Here's the study results on this. Again, scale of 1 to 10. The total number of unnatural links is, I think it's at 8.3. That's out of 10, right? 8.3 out of 10. That's really going to hurt you. It's a big, big issue, big negative ranking factor. And then if a page is duplicate content, I think that's about 7.7. So both of these are big deals. These are the top 2 negative ranking factors, which is why I'm bringing those up and really suggesting that you check those out. And that's what that's all about. Now, here's how you do it. For backlinks, you want to go to majestic.com. Okay, and if you don't get all of this down, don't worry. We're going to send the replay out, and you can go through it, speed watch it if you want, and get these things down. So majestic.com, you put in your URL. I'm going to show you actually a screen of me doing this, and then you look at the number of links that you have. Now, if you have a lot of links, you can even drill down into where they're coming from. Then you're going to really see that probably some of them are from places that make no sense. They're not natural links, okay? They're coming from strange websites and they've been built artificially. So that means that somebody's been doing bad SEO for you. Maybe it was yourself, but you don't want to have this, okay? Here's an example of Lisa and Rich's links. Now notice that they only have currently 72 backlinks. That's very reasonable from 29 referring domains. If you're publishing good content, if you're putting stuff out there, you're naturally going to get links, okay? So theirs isn't a problem. They have 181 over the last 5 years, not a problem. We can see over here that, you know, their citation and their trust flow is similar. If you have really gobs of citations, but not very much trust, that's a problem. Okay, that means that they're coming from bad sites. Now, here's a site with problems, and I've blocked out the name of the page so that that doesn't, so that I don't betray anyone's confidence here. But here's one that, you know, they have 51,000 links from very few domains. And then over the last 5 years, they've had 110,000. So this is just not normal for a therapist. Okay, it's not normal. And you're going to see here that there's a ton of weight over here in the citation area and very little in the trust area. So this is a problem. This is obviously a bad link building picture. Okay, so that's how you check that. And duplicate content, that's really easy to check as well. You just go to copyscape.com and then you put in your URL and it will tell you if you have duplicate content. So for Lisa and Rich, put in their URL, no results were found for this page. Okay, so that's a good story. They'll also tell you, hey, you can check these other pages. We did. And all those are good. Those are clean, okay? Now, whoops. I don't have an example of one that's bad, but what it'll do is it'll list a bunch of pages here where it'll show you, hey, this same content was found on this site and this site and this site. So if you're taking things from Wikipedia or National Institute of Mental Health or whatever, you're going to have duplicate content, and you don't want to do that. Certainly don't steal content from other therapists. This happens more than you would know. Don't do that. It doesn't go over real big. And, you know, it's a bad thing to do, and Google will punish you for it. So don't do it, okay? All right, on to point number 4, why you might want Google AdWords in 2016. Now, there is a lot to creating a strong site and getting it ranked, okay? That process that I showed you about April the Lyons, for instance, getting to position number 1, that took time, right? That took maybe almost a year for her to bubble up. She was on page 1 lower down earlier than a year for sure. But over time, it took her a while to get there. And if she was only relying on SEO, it would have taken her a while to get traffic to her site. Okay, because SEO is a long-term game. That's all there is to it. It's kind of like a retirement fund. At the end, you're going to be really glad that you were putting a little bit of money into it, but it grows slowly over time. So if you need clients sooner than that, AdWords is a great way to do it. But, and that's basically what I said. Now, it'll augment your traffic even after ranking. So that is something else that you can keep in mind. There's a lot of people who, even once they're ranking with SEO, they continue to run Google AdWords. And in fact, I believe when I was getting the chart for April showing that she was at #1, I still saw that her AdWords are running. So it's a way to get more traffic, okay? But if you don't do it correctly, you're just going to waste money, okay? So it used to be that Google did not care about how good the ad was. They would take your money and show the ad anyway. They also didn't care how bad your site was, okay? They would still take your money. You could pay your way to the top, in other words. The new way, they look at the ad quality, and it's not just the quality of the ad, but it's the page quality that matters as well. So it makes a big difference dollar-wise, and I'll tell you about something that I did yesterday on this front. So there is this quality score. It's affected by the landing page relevance. That means that the page that person's going to go to when they click on your ad. It's affected by the keyword relevancy. The keywords are what show your ad. It's affected by the ad copy relevance, overall account quality, click-through rate, etc. Okay, and they give you this quality score, and it's really gonna make things. It's gonna make things make it or break it, pretty much. Okay, so Lisa and Rich, they said that they had this AdWord campaign before and it wasn't working, right? Well, what was different the second time around? The second time around, they had relevant, specific content on their site with high Google quality scores, okay? So because of that, they were able to spend the same amount per month and get a lot more clicks because they had really good content, okay? Their campaign also was built, structured after their new content. They had specific content now, and they could break the campaign down into specifics. So instead of just going for like Coach New York City, they could actually have a campaign maybe on resume writing, okay? Or interviewing techniques or that kind of thing. Okay, so they had very specific pages to send people to, depending on what they were searching for. And because their content was written in a much more effective way, it tends to convert better, right? Because we're tuning in to exactly what the intent of the user is, the intent of the searcher. We're giving them the content that they really want in depth. And therefore, they're like, wow, this is the real deal. I'm going to go talk to these people. That's how they increase their consults by 4 times in 4 months. Okay, now the grand finale here, of course. How do you do all this stuff? This is a lot of stuff to do, right? We're talking about content, we're talking about SEO, we're talking about blogging, we're talking about, strategy and, setting up your site with good navigation, making it work both with SEO and with AdWords. That's a whole lot to bite off. So the biggest thing that we recommend you do, if this makes any sense to you, is really focus on a website built correctly, okay? Now, if you already have one that's fairly strong, you just may need to tweak things. But if you have a weak website with very thin content, not good organization, maybe it's older, maybe it doesn't have a built-in blog, you might as well just build a new one, okay? And do it right. Do it right, okay? So a strategic website, that's really what works. If you have this, your pages rank so that you get traffic. Your copy really makes an impact on your readers so they convert. You have relevant blog posts so that people stay on the site longer, okay? Just like what I showed you with April's site. For her, they land on her PTSD treatment site, but gosh, there's 10 blog posts sitting there that they could read and find out more about specific aspects of PTSD or their symptoms or struggles that they're having. So you really want to have this built in and shown in the right place. And if you want to use AdWords, then a strategic website is going to make all the difference. It's the difference between AdWords not working and you wasting a lot of money and having it really work. All right, the website's got to be done correctly though, right? You can't just throw one up. So you need to have clear navigation. You need to have specific pages that talk to specific issues, relevant content, good SEO, and I'm not going to get into all the details of that. We don't have time. Blog posts that are categorized correctly and shown correctly, and strong internal linking, et cetera, right? Rich and Lisa, and what we encourage all of our clients to do, have some interactive element so that you can build a list as well. So they have a quiz on their site. We're using quizzes quite a bit so that people can interact and understand if they really have an issue or not. Their quiz gets used a ton. People stay on the site longer taking the quiz, and it really helps them with usability, user experience. All right. In the end, Lisa sent us this email, just saying, I want to share this success that I've had recently with SEO. Of course, she didn't know anything about SEO in the beginning, right? But this made all the difference for her. She said, I'm showing up on the first page for searches in my specialty. One recent referral told me I was 3rd in Google search. Received 8 phone consultation requests on Tuesday, right? One day, 8 phone consultation requests. So this really makes a difference. All right, so how do you do it? Well, in previous webinars, I've given you all sorts of information about how to do it. You can always go to counselinwise.com and watch our 3 videos there that really talk about that, all the details of how to do it. But if you feel overwhelmed, or you think it's going to take you forever to pull it off by yourself, if you're intimidated by technology and you don't want to do it wrong, etc., then we do have our Smart Therapy website program. All right, we have done this now for 2.5 years, and it's going great guns, and it's improving all the time. So the hard way, which is not impossible, is for you to do this yourself. Okay, there's plenty of people who have watched all of our stuff, attended all of our webinars, and implemented everything. Okay, but that's not for everybody. The easy way is to actually do it with us. Okay, so we have a members area. I'll talk more about that. There's not only you, but there's a strategist if you need them. There's a project manager who walks you through the whole thing. There's a developer to do the technical pieces, a graphic artist who can help you with the visuals, and then me. Now, let me just qualify me. We're pretty big now. We've got like 30 people at Counseling Wise, so I am not managing every project. No way. But I am aware the project managers every week give me the status on all the projects. And certainly if you find that you need help, something's not working for you, you can come to me and I will resolve your issue for you. So I am very well aware of all the projects that are going on. The way it works is you join the program, you're added to the members area. Your strategist works with you if you need strategy work. Your project manager then contacts you, schedules a kickoff meeting. We help you plan your site so it fits you, and we implement your design. We coach you on writing your copy, or we can do it for you. Okay, so some people want to write their own copy. That's great. We give you a lot of information so you can do that well. If you don't want to do it because you don't have time, we can do it for you. And then we take your site live. Okay. The members area has 18 plus videos. We're always adding to that. They prepare you for each step before you get there. You have access to this for life. So this is changing all the time as things change. You have access to that for life. New videos are added with new developments. We're always forward-looking, innovating, testing, okay? After you go live, we continue to support you. So we let you know about changes in the market, changes in trends, and we support you going forward. We are accepting only 10 therapists at this time. We're really pretty full. In fact, we're behind. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. We're have projects on delay because we have so much work right now. But it is the end of the year and it's the last time for you to get these prices. So we're doing this anyway. We have a very specific process that we follow. You pay hourly, but you only pay for the time that you use. All right. This is Smart Therapy website is priceless. Okay, you can just look at what happened for, what's happening for April, what's happened for Lisa and Rich. There's a lot of other people that I've talked with you guys about over the last year who have had big success with us. 1 6-month client will pay for it. Okay, and then it keeps giving. Having a team is priceless, especially if you aren't technical or you're overwhelmed and you can't manage this themselves. This will make you just feel held and really taken through the process. The marketing education is a bonus. Okay, everyone comments on that. Wow, I learned so much about how all of this works. How much does it cost? Well, we are not cheap. There are very cheap alternatives out there, that's for sure. We aren't one of them, okay? The hourly rate for 2015 is $60 an hour, and this is the last time at this rate. It's going up to $65 an hour next year. The typical cost for an individual therapist range between $1,800 and $3,500, okay? So I just want to be very upfront about that. We are not a cheap option. If you want a website for $500 or something like that, that is not us. There's no way that we could do all this work for that amount of money. We have all of these folks involved. We pay attention to really what is needed to make it happen, and it's expensive. Okay, I got to pay all these folks, so it's just expensive. However, you do get to control the cost. So for instance, if you want to do your content yourself, we give you a bunch of training. We even give you this great blueprint that people have found to be very helpful in writing their own content. You can control how many customizations you request, okay? So if you want a lot of functionality like payment processing, appointment scheduling, members area, etc., it's going to cost more. If you want something that's fairly simple yet really effective, it's going to cost less. And if you are a pretty decisive person, it's going to take less time, and it's going to cost you less, okay? If you are someone who really wants to explore a bunch of different options, talk to us a whole bunch about which way you should go, it just takes more time, okay? We are happy to give you the quality help, but we do charge by the hour for this. So how can you join? Basically, you can go to counselingwise.com/smart. The initial payment for this year until midnight, 12/31, is $600, okay? That reserves one of the 10 slots. It gives you immediate access to the members area. It covers the first 10 hours of work by your team, $60 an hour. And then the remaining hours will be billed to you monthly. That's how it works, okay? And you should count on these website projects taking 2+ months, really, okay? It is not a fast process. If you join by Sunday night, if you know that you've been needing to do this and you want to jump in and grab one of those spots, we're given a fast action bonus in that we will buy you a premium responsive WordPress theme of your choice, licensed to you up to a $50 value. Or if you want to do a Squarespace site, we do Squarespace as well. We'll give you a $50 credit towards a Squarespace site. Okay? No risk guarantee. If you grab a spot and then you change your mind, you'll get a complete refund, no questions asked. Okay? There are a couple people that did that last year. They grabbed a spot because they felt like they really wanted to do it, and then something changed in their life. There was some family illness and that type of thing. They never started their projects. We fully refunded their money, okay? So this is something that you can just rest assured will be taken care of if you decide not to go forward. If you do start work and then you change your mind, you know, something happens in your life, you win the lottery, something like that, we'll refund all the hours that we haven't already spent, okay? So there's really not a problem with going forward here. I wish I really had this. When I started my practice, I just did the best I could do with coming up with whatever I thought was supposed to be done with no guidance. Didn't work, and I had to redo it. So that's why I put this system together for other therapists to use, okay? Just do it right, finally. All right, strongly urge you to join. Hopefully you can see that we're good at what we do. We love this stuff. We love working with you. We know that these spots won't last long, and next year prices are going up. Okay, now I want to make one final note about timing. Since we are behind in terms of availability, this order locks you into the hourly rate for the project. However, no new projects will begin until January 15th. Okay, we're in the holiday season here. You can start any time after that. Okay, so even if you're not ready, but you want to lock in the price, go ahead and grab one of those spots by making your payment, making your order. And then if you want to not start until February or March or April or whatever, that's fine. Okay, that's totally fine. Okay, questions. Here we go. I'm going to go over to I saw a lot of them coming in here. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to start answering these. And so if you have any more questions that you haven't typed in yet, please do so. Let's see, Lisa, I was always told to put the important copy above the fold and have the rest of the copy link to another page. Yeah, that's obviously by the graphs that you've seen of all these studies, that's not true. Important copy, yeah, you want to get their attention in the beginning so they stay, but having longer pages is the best plan. Karen, I work with seniors. Research of what is best for seniors is brevity. I can validate that for them. Okay, that might be different for seniors. What I would do is I would probably look at a bunch of different sites, Karen, that are catering to seniors. And if you're in such a different market that it makes a difference, look at the page length on those pages that are ranking and see if Google is treating it that way. That's what I would do. Karen, how do I resolve what is best for the client and best for Google? Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to see how Google is treating it. It doesn't really matter if they, if you have short pages, if you don't rank, right? You need to rank, you need to get traffic. You might be able to have the content at the top be larger font or something, and then still have a lot of content on that page that's smaller font later and give them the option to go somewhere else. Okay, so you can play with that. Annette, do you recommend adding a fee page on your website? Oh boy, that's a big highly debated topic. I think that I wouldn't personally. I understand why people want to. Some people don't want to get calls from people that don't want to pay their fee. My feeling about it, and again, I come from a marketing background, is that if you don't have the fee, you eliminate the chance for them to disqualify you based on the fee, okay? So I don't put it on. I don't. I think that you should have them read your copy and really be impacted by you and then talk to you. People will afford you if you seem like the best thing since sliced bread, okay? They'll figure it out and afford you. If you have a high fee on there and they just look at it without really spending time on your site and say no, too much, and bounce, then that fee being there didn't serve you well. That's my opinion, Annette. Are blog posts part of Google search results? Yes, Alex, they are. Do social media page links matter in ranking? Page links. Social media page links. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Amelie. Do you mean links from social media to your pages? If so, yes, that's a social signal. But maybe you could type that in again so that I understand what it is you mean. Are repins on Pinterest as valid as retweets on Twitter? No one has the data on that, Alex, to that degree of detail. Definitely, both are social signals. So, but I don't know which one is stronger. What should be the maximum number of backlinks? Well, you could have a lot, Michael, as long as they're valid, actually. As long as they're coming from good sites that have good reputation online and they're relevant to your content, you can have a lot. So it's not really so much the number, but it's the quality of the links. What is the cause of bad linking, Jane? Yeah, it's people going out there and posting stuff all over just to get links, posting on Russian and French sites and sites for credit counseling and Viagra and whatever that have nothing to do with therapy, okay? The program name for duplicate content, Copyscape. Oh, Megan already answered that. Are you saying that if you post a blog on your website and then on Facebook that it's considered duplicate content published? We do not recommend that you post a full blog on Facebook. We recommend that you post a little, and in fact, if you just post the link, Facebook will only show the picture and a little snippet, and they'll allow the the user to link from Facebook to your page. Okay, you really shouldn't have the entire blog post out on Facebook. If you post something from Pinterest on your site, is that duplicate content, like an infographic? No, typically images, they can't be crawled, Judy. So you're fine with images being in multiple places. Does it help to go back and touch up old blog posts and make them more readable? Yes, it does. And in fact, touching up content, there's a post about this on Neil Patel's website, I believe. And we've been doing this as well, making our, improving our content. And it has some age credit already if it's been out there. So if you improve it, it gets recrawled and it makes it stronger. So that's a good thing. I'm confused about not blogging on multiple sites. I thought it was helpful to post blogs on Facebook. Yeah, so I think I answered that already. Hopefully I did. It would be worthwhile to post, but yeah, boost posts on Facebook. Yeah, you get more visibility if you boost posts. Talk about the difference between Squarespace and WordPress. Yes, so Squarespace is a platform that has some pretty good built-in visuals already. Sites typically tend to be cheaper when you do them on Squarespace. However, you have less flexibility, okay? You can't do a bunch of fancy stuff. You can't say, ooh, I want that column moved, a 1/4 inch to the left. You basically get a template and that's it. You can add some things to it, but you can't be, you just have less flexibility, okay? They are cheaper for us to do because there's less fine tuning that we can do, okay? So if you really like an existing template, it's a great way to go because it'll be a good site for you. If you want flexibility, much more flexibility, then WordPress is a better avenue to take. Mary asked, what is the average cost for a website? It's $1,800 to $3,500 with us. Okay, that's the average cost. That's a pretty big range, I realize. It depends on how many specialty pages you have, how much of the content writing you do yourself, etc. How do video blogs compare to word blogs? Video blogs are good in that people stay on the site for a while, but Google really crawls words. So what we recommend if you're going to have video blogs is that you transcribe those videos to text. All right? Is it better to have a page from personal Facebook or build a completely new one separate from yours? Build a business page, Vilma, definitely. Build a business page, okay? I am not seeing any more questions. If you have any more, feel free to put them in. And as I said, we would really like to work with you to help you get this website up. So feel free to go there and place your order. If you have any questions for us regarding this before you make your decision, feel free to reach out and ask us questions. We're happy to answer anything. We want you to feel really good about this. Jane, how much can be salvaged from a previous self website? I assume that means like home built website. We want to salvage everything we can, okay? If you've created content that can be used on a new website or even design elements that can be used, we want to use those if you like them, okay? No use having to redo that. So we will always try to use existing content. More and more and more content is best. So if we have to get rid of something, then, we have to replace it and we'd rather not. Thanks, Michael. Michael says, awesome webinar. Mary, price is $60 per hour. Yes, Mary, it is. If you jump in now, 2015, it's going up on January 1st to $65 an hour. Okay, in the program. That's in our Smart Therapy Websites program. If you do a la carte work, that's more. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Devin. Thanks for the thanks. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you all being here today. And I'm going to call it. We're at 11:03, so I'm going to call it. Thanks for being here, everybody. I sure wish I could talk to you live, but this platform doesn't allow that. So have a great holiday season if I don't talk to you before then. Thanks, Mary. Bye-bye, everybody.